Hi, welcome to Librarians Talk Children's Books. I'm Eric Dunicliffe. I'm from the North Fresno branches, Woodward Park, Palladium, and Pinedale. And today we have Alyssa. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah, I'm Alyssa. I am the children's librarian for the Raisin Vines area, which is just kind of south along the 99. So Selma, Kingsburg, Fowler, Layton, Riverdale.
Keep going.
I'm missing some Gillis and Easton, I think. I think I got them all.
All right.
Oh, Carruthers. Sorry, Carruthers.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's all.
And of course, returning Ashley, can you introduce yourself again?
Yep, I'm Ashley. I'm the children's librarian for the Cotton Fields cluster, mostly based at Fig Garden, but I also cover Kerman, San Joaquin, Tranquility, Teague, Firebaugh, and Mendota, and Biola when it's open.
All right. Yeah, quite a bit. Yeah, we've got what, between the three of us, like 15, 16?
I think I have 8.
Yeah, that's
A lot.
a lot.
Yeah.
I can't
We're
figure
driving.
so quick. So I've got a trivia question for you guys. I gave you a hint before, but let's see if that was enough. What in-between book was the 1986 Newbery Medal winner? And that was also turned into a TV movie. And another big hint is this is an in-between book, and there's not a lot of Newbery Medal in-between books.
I honestly can't think of an in-between.
All right, I'll give you one more hint.
Oh, God. Okay.
The TV movie starred Glenn Close and Christopher Walken.
Oh, man.
It was a historical drama, historical fiction book.
I can see the movie if that helps in my head. I cannot think of the title though.
Yeah, it's 3 words. It starts with a name.
Is it Sarah Plain and Tall?
There you go. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I can't remember.
What was that?
My Sarah Plain and Tall is in the children's fiction section. It's not.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Uh-oh,
It
scandal.
could be. It's at the same
yeah.
level.
Well, there's been probably a lot of additions to that, and probably different catalogers have put those in different spots. So, but it is a 3.4 AR level book. So usually, traditionally, it does fit into that early chapter book, and that's a good segue into our next topic. What is an in-between book? And is Sarah Plain and Tall an in-between book? So it's what we consider an in-between book. Is it's in our collections we have our picture books, our board books, and then last week we talked about our I Can Reads for our first independent readers. So when they transition out of that, they go to our early chapter book section, and we call that our in-betweens because they're kind of in between those chapter books and in between the I Can Reads. So they're usually no longer than 120 pages, usually 60 to 120 pages. A lot of them have illustrations. Some a trend has been towards the comic kind of mixed media format, but there's usually a picture, every other page or so. Even for the ones that don't even have that many pictures, there's still always a couple pictures just to make it easy. You guys want to add anything to your definitions of in-betweens?
Sure. I think the ideas and the motifs and stuff like that are really simple too.
Yeah.
It's not until I guess older children's fiction they kind of start dealing with more serious issues and ideas. So it's a good introduction just to this is what you're going to see in the future, kids.
Yeah, you're not going to get a lot of like symbolism or allegory or things like that in these early ones. We're reading these to kind of up our comprehension and our ability to pay attention before we transition to like full-on chapter books that require longer sitting with concentration and kind of taking a step back and not just what's on the page, but what bigger ideas are we trying to get across here? Like, yeah, that's why we have these.
And I'd say as an adult reading them, like it's very obvious, like you're getting whacked over the head with like, she said this and he said that. So they're not meant for higher thinking.
Yeah. And that's a good segue into our next one. Why is it so hard for us children's librarian to recommend it? And Alyssa, you kind of pointed that out right there.
Yeah.
Days.
They're not meant for, I mean, the vocabulary is small. It's supposed to make an easy way to go from the I can reads, which are like a sentence or two, to stringing a simple story while, expanding your vocabulary. So like when I read them, I'm like, I can read the first chapter and I kind of know what's going to happen throughout the whole book. But they're still good to read aloud with your kid too. Like just hearing the words vocabulary wise, it's always a positive.
Yeah, they're just not sophisticated.
Yeah, just don't go into it thinking you're going to like have the best story you've ever heard.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it's easy for us adults to like get into Harry Potter or Wrinkle in Time or, Old Yeller. These are classic books with great stories that really can, every age can get something out of it. And even picture books can be, because they're short and kind of silly and fun, you can kind of quickly read it to your child and enjoy it too. But it's kind of hard with the in-betweens. So do you guys have any quick recommendations of any book?
So I brought a couple that my family has really liked, like my nieces and nephews. So the first ones that they've really loved are the Mercy Watson.
Okay.
These are really, they're almost like glorified picture books.
Yeah.
They're longer, definitely. Like you could maybe, if you were reading this at night before you went to bed, like you could maybe read the whole thing, or you could like split this up into 2 nights. But they're really simple. I think they're in like the 2-point-something range usually. So these my family has really liked, and they're really cute and they're silly and fun. So.
But it still has like complete paragraphs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've also liked, like going up kind of a step. My nieces have really liked the Isadora Moon series. So these are going to be a little bit longer. These are in the 3s. So like you see all this text, right? So but this is a long series. So that's the other nice thing. That is one nice thing about the in-betweens. Like if you can find one that they like.
Yes.
You can probably find 100.
Yeah.
There's not 100 of these, and there's not 100 of these, but some of them really are.
I'll just pop this one in.
Yes, yeah.
Like the Magic series, I've read there's like 200 plus books, and they're usually split up into like series of 7.
Yeah.
Same themed fairies.
Yeah.
So.
But the great thing about, all those books you mentioned is you really don't have to read them in order. Like those Rainbow Magic, you can pick up the 197th written one as your first one, and it works just as well as number 1 or 2 in the series. I've got, let's see, what did I grab? Oh, Princess in Black is a fun one. It's about a princess who's also, and correct me if I'm wrong, as I'm still a princess who's also a superhero. So it's kind of, and as you're saying, it's got that mixed media where it's got lots of illustrations, very short chapters, very easy. And this is probably beginning 3rd grade level. Critter Club, I've noticed, has gotten very popular. And a lot of these recommendations are based on what I see kids going for.
Yeah.
And
I don't think if anyone had the Puppy Palace. Those are also anything puppies.
Yeah.
I actually don't have any Puppy Palace because
I should have grabbed some. I was like, no, someone's gonna have this.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are anything cute on the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got, of course, Geronimo and Thea Stilton there's a lot of sub-series like the Rainbow Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, all right. And what I love about this is definitely the mixed media. Now, I noticed, though, with Geronimo Stilton, Thea Stilton, is they are about a fourth grade reading level. But it makes a lot easier the way they illustrate big words there, and there's actually this one has a lot less than normal, but because of a lot of the illustrations, it's easier for younger children to pick this up. So I would say this is a good one for maybe a third grader who's reading at a slightly higher level kind of deal.
Yeah. That's the other thing is like you have to be careful when you can't just walk over and grab any book off this section, because it covers like the 2 point something, and then I went over the other day and was just grabbing a bunch to check them, and I got this one, and this is like a 6.4. So I mean, honestly, this should just be in the fiction section. But it's like silly, and there's some illustrations throughout. But you know, if you give this to your third grader, they're really going to struggle. So just kind of make sure that we're checking in when they're reading it. Like, are they understanding? Is it too much? Because you might need to like take it down a notch.
Yeah. And the key thing is this is a very key milestone sort of reading level. It's a transitional from that very simple reading sentences and to go in a full chapter. And then for schools, they go from third grade is where they're getting the kids reading chapter books. But once they hit fourth grade, it's no longer read to have, just read to read, it's read to learn. So getting kids at the right level at third grade is so key, because they really start to fall behind. And you'll really see at this age, if the kids are kind of getting it, they're well into chapter books, and they're really going and running off and, really being able to read as much as they can. But if they're struggling, it's really hard even just to get them to read. So just getting them to read anything, any series. If they find a series they love, like you're saying with Rainbow Magic, 200 books, if you find that one, then they can read all 200,
And there's so much in here that you can usually find something that your kid will like. So, if they like fantasy, there's fantasy. If they like superheroes, there's superheroes. I've got, like, a mom came in and she was looking for stuff for her daughter, like superhero stuff, but a lot of like the DC and Marvel stuff was still a little bit much for her kid. Even just in terms of like the visuals, and not even like the words on the page, but the visuals and like the emotion behind it. So like I was like, try me a Mayhem. Because this is like third grade level, and this one's a 4.0, but most of them are in their 3s, I think. But it's a girl, and she's learning to be a superhero, and it's not quite as intense as some of the DC stuff.
Like Princess
and
Black.
There's lots of also like Princess Pulverizer. This is like in the fourth grade level. But these ones are just fun. You get sassy little girls who are like striking out on their own, or Eerie Elementary, like a boy who has to save everyone, like a creepy school. So there's just a wide range of stuff in here. You can find what your kid wants.
Yeah. We mentioned before that in-betweens, it's sort of when they start designating more, like this is girls, this is a boy book.
Yeah.
So it can be harder. And, picture books, like Eric, you were saying, they're just kind of general for everyone, and you're reading them together. So
boys and girls love silly elephants,
Yeah, they're animals. And so I know when people come in, a lot of times for their sons, they have a hard time finding things. But like Geronimo Stilton, those are a good series for boys and girls, I think. And then I also had the Bad Guys, which is like, the cartoon.
Yeah.
And
girls like that one too. I've had girls check that out too.
Desmond Cole. This one's funny. You've got like the little scaredy cat friend and like the brave guy that's always like saving him.
Yeah.
That's like a fun one.
And I don't think we've mentioned any mystery series. Well, Geronimo Stilton's kind of that. But like A to Z, Ballpark Mystery, Capital Mysteries. There's
And then
Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys. They'll have simplified.
the Magic Treehouse is good, but those aren't as popular anymore.
Yeah,
They're not as.
I still get people asking for those all the time.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, but I was like, oh, well, maybe I don't know.
Oh, let me grab my Magic Treehouse right here.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I read those. I liked those.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Did not read those. I also really like the Calpernia Tate series. So this was like there's a chapter, like a full-on chapter book that's in the 5th grade level, I think. That one, It was a very honor book. And then they went and wrote some like simplified. So this is like a girl kind of early 1900s, I think, late 1800s, who really just loves animals and wants to be a vet. And so she's always like, there's always like animal in peril that she's saving or something. These are really good and fun. So there are, even though some of them are kind of really didactic and we struggle to read them, there are like series like this that are fun to read. Just like this is actually pretty enjoyable as an adult. So.
All right, I wanted to share some screens with you guys. Let's bring up now. Most people, if your school does, schools do different reading level programs, but there's some websites where you can look it up. People might be familiar. I had got Sarah Plaintal up this arbookfind.com. You can find the AR level, AR book level 3.4 with 1 point. Also keep in mind interest level, middle grades 4 to 8. So even though, this is content-wise, it's a little more mature than for 3rd graders. So, that's good for your 3rd, 4th grader. And this is a good shared reading book. It's like little, I would say kind of like Little House on the Prairie, but a little more simplified, same time period. Let's see. Let me stop sharing that one. And then also, let's grab.
That is the one thing that I find with the AR is nice if you're just worried about reading level, but they don't make any kind of, there's no way to judge content.
Yeah, exactly.
Like maturity level or even like the literary value,
Yeah. We also have Lexel, which is similar to AR. Some schools use that instead. Let's see. And then also the problem with these sites is they're not really good for browsing. If you know exactly what book you're looking for or what exact author, then it's fairly instructive. But if you're looking for just, finding new series to read with your child, that's not necessarily a good location. So I did find a good website I would love to recommend to parents, and this is kidbookseries.com. Now, what I love about this is it has it lists in different ways. So you can do it by age group in terms of content, AR. I don't use grade level equivalent. I think it's a mix of 2 different things. I think that's like you're talking about, Ashley, like content and reading level. I think grade level equivalent kind of tries to bridge those 2. Lexel, and then people, if you have the guided reading with letters, it also has that. So like AR, if I knew my child was, say, 3.5, I can go to 3.0 to 3.9, and then I could find a series, say maybe American Girl Andy. And, well, okay, that's a bit high. Let me see. I said 3.5. Let me see if I can find a good. Andrew Lost. Okay. So I can see each individual book, what the exact AR level is, and then it gives you the range for the whole series, 3.3 to 4.0. And then guided level reading. So content, it's probably a little lower, good 3rd grade book. Maybe if a high reading 2nd grader might work well for. It's also got the Lexile score. So I love this website when I'm helping parents find. I've created a list in my branch. So any other thoughts?
Have you guys used Common Sense Media?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's a good, like, content-wise, like, what is the book? And I like that they have parent reviews, and then kids can leave their reviews if they like it or not. So that's always something I check before, you know.
Like when you get on there and you get like a rager.
Yeah.
Absolutely offended by the content, and you're like, okay.
Yeah. Some of them are not helpful reviews, but
It's fun, though, that they're like, I love it. When you're like, oh, okay, I didn't.
Yeah, like sometimes like, oh, it's really too simple and silly, and they're like, I love all the jokes. The kids are just really into it. So
yeah, that's what they love, and they're reading it. Great.
Yeah.
All right. Do you guys have any programs or anything you want to leave with?
just to remind everyone that we're open for curbside.
Yeah.
That we have our Overdrive and Libby. You can check out in-betweens on there. A lot easier sometimes for people. So
yeah, and just to let you know, I'll put up an article about this in the kids blog, and I'll provide some links to some of the items we mentioned and some of the websites. Ashley?
Just that we have story times going on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays. I do Tuesdays and Thursdays. Eric does Fridays.
And Alyssa helps me. Yeah.
Yes, I will be.
Yeah, and our friend Allie does Wednesdays. So, and it's all over Zoom. So you can just get on our website and sign up so you can get a link. Anybody from anywhere can attend.
Yeah, we would love to have, anybody watching this join us there. So thank you guys for joining us for this wonderful discussion. We'll see you later. Have a good day. And remember to go to FresnoLibrary.org. Have a good day.